All right, let's talk about vibe coding. You've probably heard the term, maybe even used it as a joke, but today we're going to get serious about it. We're going to take that chaotic, cross your fingers approach and turn it into a real, disciplined skill that actually makes you a better developer. Let's dive in.
So picture this. You've got a cool little idea. You fire up your favorite AI assistant, type in a vague prompt, and boom, a whole mountain of code appears. It feels like magic, right? But come on, we've all been there. We all know that sinking feeling when you realize the magic is just an illusion and the cracks are starting to show. So yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Turns out, a lot. And right here, this is the absolute core of what we're talking about today. The AI is not the bad guy here. The real problem is the temptation, the siren song, to use it as a shortcut to skip the hard stuff, to skip the critical thinking, the planning, and the design that actually makes software work. So let's start by really defining this thing we're trying to fix. Let's talk about the vibe coding trap and why so many of us fall right into it. This is it. This is the workflow that gives vibe coding such a bad name. You have a vague idea, you chuck it over the wall to an AI, and you get this big blob of code back. For a minute, it looks amazing. It compiles, it has functions, maybe it even has some comments. But the second you try to change something or debug a weird issue, you realize it's all built on a foundation of sand. But what if we could flip the script? What if vibe coding could actually be a good thing? Well, the successful version is the complete opposite of that chaos we just talked about. It's a structured, disciplined process. It's specification first. It's broken down into phases. And it's all about you, the developer, staying firmly in the driver's seat. To really get there, though, we have to fix the single biggest misunderstanding people have when they use AI for coding. I love this metaphor, the code vending machine. We think we can just put in a tiny little prompt coin, pull a lever, and expect a perfectly built, ready-to-ship feature to pop out at the bottom. But when we focus only on the output, the raw code, we're focusing on the absolute lowest value part of what these tools can do. The real magic, the highest value stuff, is using AI as a partner in thinking. Look, the most expensive part of our job isn't typing code into an editor. It's all the brain power that has to happen before we type a single line. So use the AI to help you clarify features, to poke holes in your ideas, to find those tricky edge cases. That is the real game changer. And this just illustrates the point perfectly. Look at these two prompts. The one on the left, build me a drag and drop planner. That's not a prompt, that's a wish. It forces the AI to just invent everything. And let me tell you, AI is a terrible inventor. But the one on the right, that's a specification. It provides rules, constraints, and a clear direction. And honestly, this difference is everything. When you guide the AI, you're still the architect. You're just using a tool to compress the labor, not to replace your judgment. And that, right there, is the huge leap from being an amateur vibe coder to being a professional who uses AI to get work done right. Okay, so what does this actually look like day to day? Let's walk through a disciplined workflow that you can start using pretty much immediately. First things first, stop asking for the entire system all at once. You have to break it down into phases. Each phase needs to produce a solid, reviewable chunk of functionality. You always start with the foundations, your data structures, your state models, before you even dream of touching the UI. This is how you prevent the chaos from ever starting. And here's the key bit of discipline. At the end of each phase, you don't just jump to the next one. You stop, you pause, you create a checkpoint. This is where you write down what you built, what decisions you made, and what risks you're still carrying. It creates a stable foundation, a kind of project memory for everything that comes next. And here's a super concrete example of what one of those checkpoints could look like. This isn't just some boring status update. This is vital project memory. It tells your future self and any future AI prompts exactly what assumptions are baked into the system. This one simple habit will save you from so many headaches down the road. All right, to really hammer this point home, let's look at the most common, most dangerous traps that cause this whole AI-assisted development thing to just completely fall apart. This is it. This is the #1 cardinal sin of vibe coding. The code might look slick, it might even run without errors, but if you can't stand up and explain exactly how it works and why it was designed that way, you've lost control. You've just inherited a black box that you are now responsible for forever. I really want you to burn this quote into your brain. Make it your mantra. Your job as a professional is not just to get code working, it's to own it. And ownership requires deep, genuine understanding. If an AI spits out something that feels too clever or too complex, push back. Tell it to make it simpler. Or better yet, rewrite it yourself until you get it.
The second huge trap is treating your AI like some kind of magic bug zapper. An error message pops up, and the first instinct for so many is to just copy-paste it into the AI and ask for a fix. But doing that skips the most valuable part of debugging.
On the left, you see what I call debugging roulette. It's just a guessing game. Paste, try, fail, repeat. It's miserable. But on the right, you have a professional process. You do the real work first. You reproduce the bug consistently. You gather evidence, logs, traces. You form a hypothesis. And then, only then, do you bring in the AI as a partner to help you analyze that evidence.
This is such a powerful idea. AI isn't here to replace your expertise, it's here to amplify it. The more context, the more evidence you can feed it, the more powerful its suggestions become. It's a collaborator for people who know their stuff, not a crutch for people who don't.
Okay, let's bring this all home. How do we actually make this shift? How do we go from this chaotic world of code generation to a true, effective collaboration with our AI tools?
Well, it starts by just stopping. Stop doing these things. Every single item on this list is a symptom of letting the tool lead you around by the nose. If you can avoid these pitfalls, you put yourself right back in the architect's chair, which is exactly where you belong.
If you only take one single thing away from all of this, please let it be this. Never let speed outrun understanding. The big promise of AI is that it makes you faster, but that speed is totally worthless if it costs you control and comprehension. The real goal here is leverage, to think better, to design more carefully, and to build things that last. So the next time you open up that AI assistant, just ask yourself one question. Are you asking it to invent for you, or are you asking it to help you think?